Hey, it's James from Mission, and this is the Mission Rewah Pro Bass. Ready? Let's go. Okay, so there's an internal battery, 9-volt battery in here, so you can run it off battery power if you want. There's also an external 9-volt connector here, standard center pin negative 2.1mm external 9-volt connector. There's a switch sense on there, so you can leave the battery in, and then when you plug your power supply in, the battery will be disconnected. If you need to run the pedal on battery instead of power, then you can just remove the connector and then the battery will cut in. So you can leave that battery in there if you wish. Or you can take it out if you prefer. Then of course you'll need to run it on external power. If you're running on battery, the battery is connected across the input jack here, so that it only powers on when there's something connected into the input jack. So plug your guitar in there and then it will connect the battery and power it up. If you are going to leave it for a long period of time on battery power, you just unplug the jack from the input and that will disconnect the battery. Down here, this blue 4-position switch block is your Rewah switch block, and that allows you to control the tonal characteristics of the wah. The default settings are all switches off. That's how it comes from the factory. And you'll also notice when you use this the first time, there's a little plastic cover over the top of those switches. That's just to protect it during manufacture. You can take that off to access the switches. Switch 1 controls the gain going into the first transistor, and if you switch that to the on position, that'll give you a little bit of extra gain and a little bit of overdrive on the signal. Switch 2 lowers the center frequency slightly. So that one can be quite interesting for a wah. It's also very useful for guitar. Switch 3 lowers the frequency band. This is more for the guitar version of the wah pedal, and the same for switch 4. You'll get a minor difference depending on the type of bass that you're playing. So if you're playing a multi-string bass, something like a 6, 7 or more string bass, then you're probably going to get more use out of these switches 3 and 4. If you're just playing a regular 4-string bass, then you'll probably find those don't have a very dramatic effect, but try them, see if you like them. This here is the inductor. You can see it's a lot larger than a typical inductor that you'll find on a wah pedal, and this is the same one as we use in the Rewah Pro for guitar, but because of its very large core, this large magnet in here doesn't suffer from saturation the same way as smaller inductors would, and that's what gives it a really good low frequency sound. Over here is your bypass switch. This is a true bypass, so this is a hardwired true bypass. Although both the input side and the output side of the Rewah have buffers, so they're buffered when the Rewah is engaged, the bypass is a hardwired true bypass. So when you click that switch, it will disengage the entire circuit, including the buffers. So if you want to use a buffered circuit, I'd recommend putting a buffer in front. So you can use something like the Mission VM Pro volume pedal, which is a buffered volume pedal, or any standalone buffer you can put in front if you want to use a buffer. If you don't want to use a buffer, if you like true bypass, then you can just leave that out, and then when you hit the switch here, that will bypass the entire Rewah circuit, and it'll just come straight through the input, straight out the output. Okay, that's about all I had to cover for the inside of the pedal, so let's put it back together, go plug it in, and let's try it out. Okay, let's start with the wah in the off position. So this is just my clean tone. Right, then we'll click the wah on, and then we can hear down in the very low frequency. Got some pretty good filtering there. And then we'll crank it all the way up to the maximum, so this is all the way toe down. And then we'll try with the wah as we're playing. Okay, this is with switch 1 and switch 2 engaged, so this boosts the signal a little bit and also widens the cue just a touch. So let's try it first with no wah. Okay, we'll kick it in.